Imagine deciding you are gonna drive from Bangalore to Mumbai.
Okay, that's a pretty long trip.
Right, yeah. And you have this fantastic, like, high-powered car. You have a high-resolution map sitting right on the passenger seat.
Sounds like you're totally prepared.
You'd think so, right? But there's just one glaring problem. You have absolutely no idea what your current starting coordinates are.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, you don't even know where the car's parked. So no matter how fast that vehicle is or, how much premium fuel you pump into the tank, your journey is going to be hopelessly inefficient.
Because you can't map a route without a starting point. That makes total sense.
Exactly. And today we are looking at how yes, you listening right now might be driving that exact same car when it comes to your professional career.
Which is a pretty uncomfortable thought, honestly. I mean, we have all this unprecedented power and information right at our fingertips, but a profound lack of navigational awareness.
Yeah,
We're moving incredibly fast, but, often in completely the wrong direction.
So true. So we are digging into an article today titled Don't Start with Learning, alongside some really fascinating analysis of a platform called SkillDrift.
It's a really interesting set of sources.
It is. And our mission for this deep dive is to rescue you from the trap of what they call learning noise. We're going to explore why taking that next online course or signing up for another boot camp might actually be the very thing stalling your career progression.
Yeah, stalling it, not helping it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Oh, wait, let's unpack this because I have to push back immediately.
Sure, go for it.
For decades, always be learning has been like the ultimate golden rule, right? It's hammered into us from day one of our career.
Oh, absolutely. It's on every motivational poster.
Right. So why are these sources suddenly framing the accumulation of knowledge as a liability?
Well, what's fascinating here is that it's not the learning itself that's the liability. I mean, knowledge is obviously valuable.
Right, okay.
The issue lies in the deeply flawed assumption that's driving the whole, multi-billion-dollar professional development industry.
Which is what?
That assumption is that simply engaging in more learning automatically equals better career outcomes. It's this dangerous belief that volume equates to velocity.
Volume equals velocity.
Yeah, we are operating on this obsolete linear model where, education leads to skills, which supposedly leads safely to a job.
But that linear model feels like a complete relic at this point.
It is.
Because the sources note that technology is evolving at a pace that just completely outstrips traditional university curricula.
Oh, it's not even close.
Right. By the time a four-year degree is updated, the technological landscape of that industry has shifted, like, twice.
At least twice. Even internal corporate training programs can't keep up with how fast roles are transforming.
Yeah, and then you add artificial intelligence to the mix.
Exactly. AI is reshaping skill requirements on a month-to-month basis now.
So fast.
And the traditional institutional response to this rapid change has been to simply flood the market with educational content.
Just throw more courses at the problem.
Right. We are swimming in a sea of learning noise. Thousands of boot camps, master classes, and AI-generated resources are all just competing for your attention.
So true.
The challenge in the modern economy is no longer access to knowledge. Information is completely democratized.
Right. Anyone can look anything up.
The true challenge is knowing what knowledge actually matters for your specific trajectory.
It makes me think of going to a massive all-you-can-eat buffet.
Oh, I love a good buffet analogy.
Right. You walk in, there are 500 different dishes under the heat lamps, and you just start piling things onto your plate because you feel like, you should be eating.
You want to get your money's worth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you end up consuming thousands of calories, and you get zero actual nutrition. It is just bulk without benefit.
Bulk without benefit captures the psychology perfectly. And if we look closely at why professionals do this, it reveals a pretty harsh truth about human behavior.
Oh, you do tell.
We often use this type of busy learning as a highly sophisticated procrastination tool.
Wait, really? Procrastination?
Yeah. Taking another generic coding course or management module feels productive, right? It gives us that little dopamine hit of accomplishment.
You get a little badge on your profile.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But psychologically, it's a safe, controlled environment where failure is just like a low quiz score.
Oh, wow. That hits hard.
We use it to avoid the much harder, unquantifiable work of addressing our actual career blind spots. things like executive communication or learning how to navigate office politics or leading through ambiguity.
Wait, hold on. You're saying the years people spend accumulating advanced technical certificates are often just a psychological crutch?
In many cases, yes.
Because, I mean, every manager I've ever had told me to keep padding my resume with those credentials.
That used to be the standard advice.
Right. So for the professional who just spent 40 hours of their weekend and $1,000 on a generic coding boot camp, are those traditional certificates totally useless now?
Well, they aren't useless, but they are increasingly insufficient on their own as a proxy for competence.
Insufficient. Okay.
Employers are no longer looking for a piece of paper that proves you had the patience to sit through 40 hours of video modules.
Yeah, anyone can hit play on a video.
Exactly. They are hiring for immediate role readiness. They want problem-solving acumen.
Which a certificate doesn't prove.
Right. There's a massive widening chasm between finishing a course and achieving actual employability. Professionals pour capital in these programs and see zero impact on their careers.
Because they're solving the wrong problem.
Precisely.
So the sources propose a pretty radical antidote to this broken system. They call it the gap-first framework.
The gap-first framework, yeah.
It completely re-engineers how we approach professional development. Instead of that old linear model, it introduces a highly targeted sequence.
Right, it flips the script.
So it goes. Career goal, followed by skill gap, followed by learning, which finally leads to employability.
Precision is the core operating principle of this new sequence. Step one is defining the career goal.
You have to pick a destination before you start driving.
Exactly, back to your car analogy.
Yeah.
The text gives the example of, say, a software engineer aiming to become an AI architect, or a finance professional seeking a transition into fintech product management.
A very specific target.
Yes, because without a highly specific target, any learning you do is essentially random.
And once you have a destination, every potential skill you could learn can be evaluated for relevance.
Right. Does it get me closer to the goal or not?
But the sources argue that step 2, identifying the skill gap, is where the entire system usually falls apart.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah, there's a brilliant example of a data analyst who wants to transition into a full-fledged data science role.
I love this example.
Because of all that learning noise we talked about, their immediate instinct is to just go learn advanced machine learning algorithms.
And, it sounds completely logical on the surface.
Right.
They look at job boards, they see the buzzword machine learning repeated endlessly, and their confirmation bias just kicks in.
They assume that is the magic key to the promotion.
Exactly.
But when a rigorous assessment is actually done on this data analyst, it turns out their technical skills are already well above average.
They didn't need more tech skills at all.
Right. The invisible roadblocks holding them back are stakeholder communication, experimental design, and knowing how to properly frame a business problem.
Without that precise visibility into their true gaps, that analyst would have spent 6 months grinding through complex machine learning theories, only to find themselves, still getting rejected in interviews.
That sounds incredibly frustrating.
It is. The gap, not the curriculum, has to be the starting point. We have to shift the fundamental question from what course should I take to what specific capability must I build next.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. The text points out that we routinely just guess what we need to learn. Why are we historically so terrible at diagnosing our own professional blind spots?
Well, we just lack the objective distance required to evaluate ourselves accurately.
They're too close to it.
Exactly. We naturally gravitate toward what is comfortable and quantifiable. Technical skills like learning Python or mastering a new software tool, those are highly visible.
Right. You either know the syntax or you don't. It is very easy to measure.
But soft skills, strategic communication, structural thinking, these are incredibly nuanced and difficult to self-diagnose.
Because nobody wants to admit they're bad at communicating.
Yeah, and we also suffer from the Dunning-Kruger effect in reverse sometimes.
What do you mean?
Sometimes we underestimate our proficiency in areas where we are actually quite strong, which leads us to overstudy things we already know.
Oh, wow. So we're just spinning our wheels. The source material grounds this entire abstract framework with a real-world application that I think really clarifies the stakes.
Yes, the story of Priya.
Exactly. Priya is a finance professional with 6 solid years of experience. Her clearly defined career goal is to transition into a financial planning and analysis leadership role, specifically an FP&A director.
And Priya's initial instinct mirrors that data analyst we talked about.
Right.
She defaults to passive learning mode and decides to enroll in a broad, advanced finance certification.
Because she wants to grab another massive credential for the resume.
Naturally.
However, a detailed gap analysis reveals a completely different reality. Her core finance knowledge is already top tier.
She doesn't need to relearn accounting principle or finance theory.
Not at all. Her hidden actual deficits lie in data visualization, scenario modeling, and strategic executive communication.
And by identifying those exact measured gaps, Priya avoids spending 6 months slogging through redundant material.
Right.
She stops learning for the sake of learning. She focuses exclusively on developing those 3 targeted capabilities.
And the result is wild. Within a matter of weeks, her professional profile aligns perfectly with the market expectations of an FP&A director.
Weeks instead of months. It's a huge difference.
It is like going to a doctor because you have a slightly sprained wrist.
Yep.
You walk into the clinic and the doctor says, just to be safe, we're going to put your entire body in a full cast for 6 months.
You would run out of the hospital.
Exactly. But that is exactly what we voluntarily do with our careers. We put ourselves in these full-body educational casts.
We do. And the scary part is, legacy learning platforms actually incentivize the full body cast
Why would they do that?
because they are fundamentally built to sell content, not to engineer outcomes. Their business models rely on catalog size, user engagement hours, and subscription retention.
So the longer you're stuck in the cast, the more they get paid?
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
They treat the completion certificate as the final product. The void between their educational content and actual market demand is a blind spot they are not financially motivated to fix.
Okay, so Kriya avoided the full body cast and got the job. But Priya presumably had, like, a human expert or a mentor perform that gap analysis. How is the average person supposed to afford or find that kind of hyper-personalized career auditing? It feels impossible to scale.
And it used to be. But that brings us to the technological solution discussed in the sources, the SkillDrift platform.
Okay, let's get into SkillDrift.
It's described in the text as an AI-native talent mobility platform.
Okay, let's strip away the corporate jargon for a second. Talent mobility platform just sounds like HR speak. What does that actually mean for the listener?
Fair enough. It is software designed to figure out exactly what skills you need to move up or laterally in your industry, rather than just keeping you stuck in your current role.
So it's about movement.
Exactly. Instead of presenting you with a massive catalog of courses to scroll through, it starts with career intelligence.
The text mentions it maps a user's skills against real-time market expectations.
Yes.
How does an algorithm actually know the market expectation of, say, an FP&A director? Does it just scrape a few job boards and guess?
No. It is far more sophisticated than a simple keyword scrape. The platform ingests thousands of live job descriptions, performance metrics, and industry capability frameworks in real time.
Thousands. Wow.
Yeah, it mathematically isolates the exact skills and proficiencies that are currently getting people hired or promoted in that specific role.
Okay.
It then compares that live market data against your personal profile, isolating the exact capability divides. It literally maps the delta between where you are and what the market is currently buying.
It's like switching from a printed encyclopedia to a modern GPS.
I like that.
The encyclopedia gives you all the information in the world that is your traditional course catalog.
Right.
But the GPS actually looks at exactly where your car is parked right now, analyzes the current traffic conditions, and only gives you the 3 specific turns you need to make to get to your destination.
The GPS metaphor is highly accurate, and once SkillDrift identifies those 3 turns, your specific gaps, it does not hand you a cumbersome, one-size-fits-all 40-hour course.
Thank goodness. So what does it do?
It deploys hyper-personalized microlearning. But here is the critical distinction the sources highlight.
Yeah.
It doesn't rely on generic video lectures or even old-school simulated tests. Instead, the platform uses highly targeted articles and podcasts in a discussion format to provide this personalized microlearning.
Wait, really? Articles and podcasts?
Yes, because they realize that consuming dense material passively or taking a stress-inducing simulated test doesn't actually reflect how professionals work and solve problems.
That makes a lot of sense. So you're engaging with these targeted discussions instead of just clicking A, B, C, or D on a quiz.
Exactly. You might listen to a hyper-focused podcast discussion dissecting a specific scenario in executive communication, or read a deeply relevant article that breaks down scenario modeling for your exact industry.
And that's tailored just for your specific gap.
Precisely. And as you engage with these discussion formats, the platform continuously tracks your demonstrated proficiency.
Because you're actively engaging with the material, not just zoning out.
Right. You have a personal AI-powered capability map on your dashboard, and it updates dynamically.
So you get immediate feedback.
You don't wait until the end of a multi-week semester to see if you learned anything. You watch your red flagged gaps visibly shrink in real time as you complete these targeted micro-learnings.
The source sums up this shift pretty ruthlessly, honestly. They say most platforms measure learning completion, SkillDrift measures employability progression.
It's a powerful statement. We are witnessing the shift from a static, archaic model to a dynamic, continuous loop.
Career goal to skill gap.
To personalize micro-learning via these targeted discussions, to employability, to career growth.
Right.
The objective is not to manufacture more learning hours to boost internal corporate metrics. The objective is to engineer a more employable professional.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here because this sounds almost too clinically efficient.
All right, hit me.
I am doing these micro modules. I am reading the articles, listening to the podcasts. I am watching my red flags shrink into green check marks on a slick digital dashboard.
Sounds great so far.
But how does seeing a digital employability metric improve on a screen actually translate to walking into a high-pressure interview with genuine confidence? Doesn't the human element, like the messy, unquantifiable part of interacting with an actual hiring manager, still matter?
The human element matters more than ever. But true confidence in an interview does not come from a vague, abstract sense of having learned something by passively watching a video.
Okay.
It comes from knowing exactly what you are capable of articulating. Because SkillDrift uses these targeted articles and podcasts in a discussion format, you're actually learning how professionals talk about and solve these specific problems.
Oh, I see. You're absorbing the language of the capability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not just memorizing theory. You are actively demonstrating to yourself that you understand the nuances of the topic.
You are building mental muscle memory, not just taking notes.
When you walk into that interview, you aren't hoping you have the skills. You have validated proof of your own proficiency, and you know how to discuss it naturally.
Because you've been engaging with discussion formats the whole time.
Right. That profoundly shifts your psychological posture from defensive and uncertain to empowered and ready. You are no longer trying to convince them you are smart. You are demonstrating that you are capable.
That is a massive paradigm shift. You aren't holding a certificate of attendance. You are holding evidence of capability.
Exactly.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, today? The ultimate takeaway from our deep dive is that in the hyper-fast modern economy, knowledge alone simply does not generate career momentum.
It really doesn't. Access to information has been completely commoditized. Knowing things is no longer the ultimate differentiator.
So what is?
Applying the exact right knowledge to the exact right problem is what sets you apart.
Momentum requires knowing your exact destination, identifying the specific invisible obstacles in your path, and deliberately surgically closing those gaps.
Yes.
So before you blindly hit enroll on your next course or buy another textbook or sign up for a sprawling boot camp, pause.
Just take a breath.
Take a breath, step back, and ask yourself a much better question. What exact gap am I trying to close?
If you cannot answer that question with absolute clarity, you should not be learning yet. You need to focus on navigation before you hit the gas pedal.
Such great advice. And I want to leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought that builds on everything we've explored today.
I love a provocative thought.
So if AI platforms like SkillDrift are constantly mapping our skills against real-time market expectations, what happens when the market demands change right in the middle of our micro-learning?
Oh, that's a wild thought.
Right. If algorithms are reshaping industry requirements overnight, will our career goals have to become as fluid and dynamic as the technology tracking them? You might find yourself aiming for Mumbai, only to realize halfway there that the market actually needs you in Chennai.
The concept of a static career goal might be the next thing to become obsolete. Adaptability, not just capability, will be the ultimate metric of employability.
Adaptability is the ultimate metric. I love that. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the gap-first career strategy. Figure out exactly where your car is parked, map your blind spots, and start driving with precision.